What up, YouTube guitar nerd dizzles? You gotta be a serious nerd if you're watching this video. I'm gonna take you on a ride. I have no idea how long this takes, but one of my best friends is here that I haven't seen in 3 years because he lives about 10 miles away, and hey, we can't see each other. I mean, that's a serious drive, right? So, we're looking at Deflex. Plastic. For loads of money. Do we need this? Fuck yeah, you need it! So we're gonna look at why, and I really hope, really doesn't have an H in it, I really hope that we can pull it off to show you the effect that this has when you're playing it. Because the effect is mindblahoing. Loads of H's in there. It's a great product from a good friend, Hubert Hochleitner. That's very difficult to say in English. Hubert Hochleitner. Hubert Hochleitner. Learn frickin' German. There was a time when we tried for all of you to speak German at some point, but it failed. Luckily. Okay, moving on. I'm getting political here. So, Deflex, we're looking at that. And we're trying to make it so that you can hear it the way I perceive it. Obviously, you can mic and amp and all this, but it's not about mic and amp, it's about how does the Deflex feel in the room. How does it feel in the room? So we're going to try to do this, and my idea is, well, we're gonna need ears for you. So, Martin, come here. Come here. Martin, come here. I'm gonna get Martin for you, okay? So. This is Martin, who's trying to copy me with the hair.
Hey, how are you doing?
Yeah. And he's gonna be my minion. Martin's gonna be my minion.
Banana.
Banana. I have a banana t-shirt.
Do you?
Yeah, I got that for my birthday because we like the Minions. Banana. Anyway, where are we? So Martin's gonna be my guy with my ears because I can't run around and pull the Deflex back and forth. So he's gonna do this for me. My ears. I'm gonna be the puller. And he flies helicopters, so he brought his helicopter helmet for, why? So you're gonna see him with this, and we're trying to put mics on the helmet. Helmet, that sounds like Helmut.
It does.
In English. On the helmet, so that you can experience what he's hearing. Obviously, please remember, this is cardioid condenser mics on a helicopter helmet worn by a bald guy running around my living room. So this is not actually ears. So that means when he's moving, there will be possibly a phasing effect, which actually you kind of possibly have that in your ears naturally. Maybe you're just used to that. But it's gonna sound slightly different than your ears, obviously. There will be a Doppler effect when you move and all this. So we're trying to get you the effect of the amazing Deflex, but approximate. So now we're gonna try to put mics on a helicopter helmet. So, here we are now. My minion, Martin the minion, Banana. We are in the part of my studio that you never see, which is also called my frickin' living room. I built this nice man cave, you know, beautiful beamer, really cool movie theater here, whatever. And it's 6 meters high because I also wanted to be able to track drums. So on days where I have bands here, which hopefully never happens because musicians suck and we don't want them in the house. No. He's trying to shake his head, not happening with the banana on it. This is patent pending, by the way, don't steal this. We just moved the sofa and we have a beautiful tracking room. Right now we have a beautiful cranking up the amp room for Deflex. So, what's the deal? We're trying to capture the sound of your ears with the two MXL mics taped to the helicopter pilot's head. And if that's not stupid enough, just wait what's coming. So, Deeflexx. Why do you need a piece of plastic? Let me explain. I have a couple of points I'm going to have to read from a page. They sent me some pointers and said, hey, it would be cool if you could talk about this. I talk about what I want to talk about. Probably the points on the list. Well, use this mic. No. Use that mic. No. We're using banana. The sweet spot of an amp. Okay, well, we all know that amps sound better or worse depending on where you are, which is very difficult because your audience is not where you are. So the sweet spot of an amp, if you can see this Shure Badger 112 cab with the Mesa Boogie Mark V, thank you Mesa Boogie, 25. On the ground here, I already recorded a loop with the Quetzal M3, going into the whole setup into the Ditto looper with an Evidence Audio, the melody cable, then continuing to the amp with an Evidence Audio SIS solderless cable, being powered by a Yankee HS10M power supply. I know my shit, right? All these companies are nice to me, so come on, I'm gonna mention them, except Shure, they never gave me anything. So this is a speaker. So this is on the ground now, which is where you want it because you have the bass effect, which we get to later. So the sweet spot. If you stand right here, you're not going to hear shit because your ankles don't have ears unless we tape them on, right? But right here, you're going to have, you know, a muddy kind of sound, which is why when I have bands that I coach, I say, hey, don't stand in front of your amp, stand in front of the amp of your guitar player. So stand of your buddy's amp and have that come at you. And your buddy whose amp is standing right here is standing over here. So do a crisscross, which means you will hear yourself a lot better and not blast your shit in your friend's face. That's already one option. Move away from your amp into the sweet spot, which is about 1, 2, 3, and then 1 meter over here, where you stand really close to your buddy. Do some tongue action. No, we're not doing that. So this is kind of the sweet spot of the amp where it's going to sound perfect. Now, is the Deeflexx going to take that away? No. In the sweet spot, it sounds exactly like the sweet spot sound. Sweet spot. That's difficult with the lisp. The sweet spot. But with the Deeflexx, I can move anywhere and the sweet spot sound will be replicated wherever you are in the room. We'll get to that later. So that is something, the sweet spot, you want to be in it. The Deeflexx allows you to move that around and have it everywhere. You want your amp, especially if it's a 112 combo or smaller speaker, on the ground because that's where you have the bass. As soon as you move it away from the ground, you're going to lose the bass. And we like the bass. We do. So, I'm going to show you what I intended to do. I had these two 112 amps, the Carl Martin Rode Bandmate 15, and I bought these stands and I put them on stands, especially in a stereo field. I thought this is a good idea, get them off the ground and have them come into my ears so I don't have to crank them up that loud. And oh my God, did it sound like crap. So we're going to get this off the ground and, well, actually, Martin is standing roughly in the sweet spot. I'm going to turn on the loop and we're going to listen through the banana what it sounds like if the amp is on the ground in the sweet spot. It should sound pretty okay because he is in the
sweet spot.
Sweet spot. Thank you. You can't hear him because, you know, I have the mic. He's just the minion. Damn it. So, here we go. Ha! Awesome. How did that sound, huh?
Great.
Great. Yeah, if the amp's on, it helps. We're in channel 1 on crunch. There you go. Now, I'm going to move the amp up to where a 112 would be cool. Well, technically, where you think the 112 would sound in your face and bam. The problem is, it's going to be actually in its face now. A speaker has a beam effect, which means in the middle, it's gonna go BAM! You know? That had no effect whatsoever. It's more like BAM! You know? In your face. So, it's not gonna be nice. I hope I can capture that with the banana. Frickin' Lord, I'm standing next to it, not in front of it, and it's not nice. Maybe move left and right a little bit so we can see, hopefully, how it beams in your frickin' face. So me, with my years of experience, seriously thought that the amp stand was a solution. And he's very lucky because he's actually wearing these big-ass things on his ears. He can't hear shit. It's not a solution. It is piercing. Now, if you have a stereo setup, let's just hit on that a little bit, that's even worse. Because you're like, okay, I'm smack in the middle and both amps are coming at me. And yeah, they're both coming at you and it sounds like crap. So you try to move away, and all of a sudden you're in the sweet spot of one amp when the other hits you even more direct. So trying to find a sweet spot for both amps, especially when they're up on an amp stand like this, not gonna happen. So stereo setup is much more complex. That's why I got the Deflex and it worked beautifully for me. But you can see even for one cab, I hope you can see that, it's not really happening. And the thing is, with the test we're doing here, I don't know if it works, but you simply have to take my frickin' word for it because I've experienced it. I've had the Deflex in front of my cabs. I had 15 watt amps on 10 o'clock, so not loud at all, on the frickin' floor, at my feet, and nothing on the monitoring system. Nothing at all. Just coming from the amps. And we played 4 gigs in that constellation and I heard myself just like sitting in the studio in front of my monitor speakers. So in case this doesn't convince you, A, just freaking believe me and buy it. B, go and test it. Go and test it yourself because it freaking works. So we're gonna take this down now. The problem with it being on the floor is that's where that's not a problem. The good thing is that's where you want it because you have more bass, okay? But now it's actually, going at your legs. So you have to be in the sweet spot. You don't always have space to be in the sweet spot. In a rehearsal room, practice room, not necessarily. On stage, well, you might be able to move around. I might be able to be right here. But what if I actually want to move? Not gonna happen. So if I move around, I might hear myself, I might not hear myself, and you're gonna be this guitar player who stands right here like this, trying to hear yourself perfectly. Fuck it, get a Deflex. Because it disperses the sound in a way that the beam is not blocked. Because if you block the beam, you're gonna have less high end. There's other systems that do that, beam blockers, foam thingies, I don't know about them. But this actually just makes your sound good everywhere. Where did I put it? Here. So, right here, I'm gonna play the loop again, and he's standing in the middle. Let's try the middle, okay? Where the beam should hit him a little bit, but since it's not so directional, not so much. and so on. So here, standing here, I would pretty much have a duller signal because it's kind of going right past me. I played rehearsals right in this room, standing between my 112 combos, and I had the most beautiful sound all night. So I think you should start moving around a little bit. Come closer, stand right next to it, just move around. Yeah, I wish you could hear it. It's freaking super apparent. As soon as I take it away, I can obviously still hear it. I'm not freaking deaf, but it becomes muddy, it becomes undefined, it becomes like, where's my sound? It's, what am I doing exactly? As soon as I move the Deflex in front of the speaker, I can hear what I'm doing. It's direct, I'm right in the sound. I mean, if I play it, which I'm not. Huh? No, it's that directness, that bam in your face is right there. Now, I could tell you about a billion things about it. Like there's little notches at the bottom where you can actually tune it to how far you want it out of your speaker. Something about different bass frequencies, what do I know? I shove it under there and it freaking works. That's the truth. So if you want to find out exactly on what you do, you're like, why do I need a manual for a thing that you shove under your speaker? That manual is freaking ridiculous. Here's my reaction when I unboxed the thing and found the manual for a piece of plastic. And there's actually a big-ass operation manual. Can you believe it? Now that is freaking awesome. I mean, an operation manual with a lot of pictures for a useful piece of plastic? Well, they really want to help you find the right use and help you just, I mean, this is killer. Seriously. I mean, I look at the details, how something is boxed in. I mean, wow. Hoovy, way to frickin' go. Way to go. Yeah, that was actually my reaction. No shit. So, let me see. We talked about the bass effect. We talked about the sweet spot. Well, it's a good point, but don't know how valid the point is. I can actually set up, my sound right here and then know where it's going to sound like instead of going over here. Oh, yeah, okay, sounds good. Okay, sounds good. I mean, the sound is the same everywhere. Minion is tired. Well, does it work with two 12 cabs? Yeah, you just need two Deflex. Bam, check mark. Does it work with 412? Yeah. I have been told by the company that most people who do use 412s and then use Deflex tend to switch to 212s because they don't need it anymore. The top speakers of a 412 don't give you a lot of bass and fullness because they're not close to the ground. They don't have that bass coupling effect. So what people do to avoid the beam effect, because the top speakers are not blocked, they use Deeflexx at the bottom and actually just put towels or a blanket on top of it, so that the beam effect is blocked for the top speakers. Most people switch to smaller systems because it freaking works. Well, obviously, I could angle it or put it on the stand, but we've already talked about this. The bass goes away, and you have that beam in your face. So it's not an option just to angle your amp. Blah 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 blah. Yeah. If you want, obviously you can achieve feedback the same way that you achieved before. Everything is exactly the same with the Deeflexx or without it. You just hear yourself exactly the way that you want to hear yourself. But instead of a loop, I'm gonna play a little bit. So let's do that. You come here and you do your thing. You stand where I would be standing. You're my ears. And by the way, how freaking cool is it, Mesa Mark 525? I mean, we gotta say this. I mean, you can't hear it, but it's cool, huh? We tried. Cable not long enough for rock and roll. So, hey man, I had fun. Here we go. Fucking hell. So, let's talk about a very important issue concerning Deflex. The issue you all want to know about, which is the price. One of the first things I hear, I'm stuck here! One of the first things I hear from many people is, well, I'd rather build that myself. People see me use it live and say, this is cool, oh man, you sounded awesome. And actually, every single front of house guy came up to me and said, dude, before the show, they were looking at my little setup with 2 amps, shaking their heads, like, what's a piece of plastic? And then, hello. And then they mix the show, and they're like, dude, that was one of the best guitar sounds I've had on a long-ass time. And where did it come from? So, there's a lot of disbelief, like, how can that be? I've had the best live sound I've ever had with these things. But one of the things they say immediately is, oh, it's this much? Whoa. Yeah, I just built it myself. Well, first of all, I mean, it's not really the best reason. First of all, it's freaking illegal. Okay, you can't, because obviously copyright and all this. Then again, are they gonna hunt you down if you smack this thing together and put it in front of your amp and sue you? Probably not. But do you really want to go and buy some plexiglass, which is breakable? Okay, it's dangerous shit, plexiglass from your local hardware store. I don't know, take a hot glue gun and glue it together. Are you actually going to have the same dimensions? Are you actually going to have what we have here? Very likely no. I've seen a video where someone did that. It probably has a similar effect, but he spent quite a bit of money in the plexiglass, and he has something that if he takes it to a show, he's going to have to treat like raw eggs, okay? This, how are you going to treat this? Is this breakable? I broke it. No, that's supposed to come off. Okay. I have to come over here. Can you see this? Yes. So, is this breakable? No. Oopsie. Woo! Oh, I accidentally, oopsie, no, it's not. Because this is made out of a secret material that they found on Mars. And this is actually made out of the same thing that airplane windows are made out of. And they're not breakable. You don't want them to be breakable because that breaks you. So this is expensive shit to begin with, okay? I'm gonna clip this right back into here. Bam! Clip! The other thing is, a couple of guys were standing in their garage for a long ass time developing this, and that needs to be paid for. And they decided that this is an expensive product because it's made in small series, so the more you make, the lower you can get the price. If you only make a few for, selected guitar players who want this product, it's gonna drive the price up. The quality will drive the price up, but also the ingenuity, because you know what? You freaking didn't come up with it. It's not your intellectual property, so you can't build your own. If you want one, you freaking need to buy it. I know it's expensive. That thing, 359 euro. And then there's also the Aura. This is the edition, and there's the Aura, which is the lower priced version without the red thing. And it's got a couple of slightly different, similar effect. That's $100 cheaper, 200 and something. 270, it's about $100 cheaper. It's freaking expensive. But every single fucking person that I had this try, or who was on stage with me, said, shit, it works. They were hoping it's crap. They were hoping it's something stupid, okay? Because that would mean that they don't have to spend the money. Well, the bass player I played with, Paul, every single time he's like, yeah, damn it, it's good. It's sadly really good, and it's sadly necessary for everyone who works professionally as a musician. Everyone who's regularly on stages and wants to have a good sound for himself and for the band, lower the volume in the band overall. Sadly, fucking Deflex people, you made a good product. And you ask a lot of money for it. But it's the only one out there, it's the only one that does what it does. And I simply have to say, it sadly works. And if you guys want one, you're gonna have to fork over the money, okay? It is definitely something, and come on, I'm playing a 6,000 euro guitar, the freaking cab is 600 bucks, I don't know, 2,000 bucks for the amp, and I know I'm not bragging here, this is, a lot of us are like this. Come on, we spend money on the guitar and the pedal and the patch cables for way overpriced, and then everything, our whole setup costs a lot of money. This is our hobby, this is what we do. And then you hear it crappy because you're in the wrong position? So yes, it's not cheap, but it's the last piece of the puzzle that's gonna make you enjoy what you do in your practice room and on stage to fulfillment. It's gonna bring your whole setup to the point where it actually works, okay? I'm not being paid by them, that's the fact. I've done it, I've been on stage with it. So anything else I can add to this? I have two in front of my Carl Martin 212. You've probably seen it in some other videos. And for me, the first thing I do, I am not shitting you. The first thing, there's no light here. Well, I can't do that without light. The first thing I do when I come home from a gig, I'm not fucking shitting you. The first thing I do is I take the Deeflexx out of my little bag that I have for them and put them smack in front of my speaker again, because I don't want to sit down there and test pedals and play guitar ever without these anymore. Anything that I use will have the Deeflexx in front of it. Don't know what else is on the list, but that's pretty much all I can tell you. It doesn't break, it's not cheap, but worth it. Support the people who make great products. So, that's all I can say. And it works. Martin's gonna run around playing the loop again, and I'm gonna move it back and forth. We're gonna do that again, and I play you out with that. Deflex frickin' works. You'll never play live the same again. You play quieter, you move around wherever you want, and you will hear yourself in a way that you've never heard yourself. And no guitar on the monitors, no this matchy kind of muddy crap sound. So, Martin, enjoy. Oh! A huge thanks to my minion, the Banana Martin. That guy. And I'm sorry this took so long, but this is not an easy concept, and I wanted to make sure, whatever, you know it, this never. You had your coffee, shut the fuck up, go home. Actually, you are home, go and buy Deflex if you like the concept. And I'm pretty sure that in many stores, Thomann sells them. Links under my video to Thomann. Buy them, give me some Thomann rewards points. But you have 30 days to give it back, okay? Just try it. I highly doubt, highly doubt you'll ever give this back or ever play a gig without your Deflex again. I will see you on the flippity flop. Whatever a flippity flop is. He can't hear anything. See ya. See you guys.